Thursday afternoon here on the West Coast. Man, I feel like a drive time DJ screaming in with one of those, hey, guys, you cool cats and kittens, 98 degrees, traffic and weather on the nines. This is Hip Hop and Andy with... Anyway, welcome to the Ultra Live Show. Yeah, I guess I need like a radio, like Mad Dog. It's Stephanie and Mad Dog or something like that. Mad Dog and the Blurp in the afternoon. Stephanie Leathe, welcome to the Ultra Live Show. How has your week been so far?
It's been great. I am hearing something out here. My cousin is getting married in a week, so family's starting to arrive. We are all hands on deck.
That's amazing.
Big month for the Leathe Anthony family.
Absolutely. So where is the wedding local or are you having to travel?
It's local. Okay. So we're a destination wedding for everyone else.
I love it. That's fantastic. Destination wedding going to the Northeast. I love hearing that. Typically, before we kind of get into what we talk about here, first of all, Maeve, we miss you. Maeve will be back next week. Trust me. We're going to have a kind of a travel log with Maeve, plus a couple of Ultra Live updates as well, just to kind of, envelop ourselves in summer, because technically it's summer everywhere now. Well, except we work with somebody who lives in South Africa, and on our Monday call, she was talking about how freezing it was, and my brain didn't flip into the, wait a minute, what do you mean freezing? It's 98 degrees in the shade here. What do you mean? But of course, the Southern Hemisphere flips the other way, so what are you going to do? We typically give a recommendation during this portion, and I'm going to give one of the most basic recommendations to you, the Ultra Live fam. I think this is one of those things that is just kind of a duh, but you need to hear it from me. Go sign up for a Netflix subscription if you don't have one, or steal one from your next door neighbor. You know somebody that will give you a Netflix password. And then go to your search bar and type in Stranger Things. Again, one of the most basic things in the world, but my wife and I have started rewatching season 3 in preparation for season 4, which is going to be completely out next week after the 4th of July. My goodness, that show has a way with character development, with action, with story. Yes, it's kind of horror and kind of freaky in some portions, but my goodness, some of the best acting, outside of Winona Ryder, some of the best acting I have ever seen. Stephanie, have you guys watched Stranger Things?
Oh yeah. Big craze in my family right now.
Have you seen season 4 yet?
I have not, and I never actually finished season 3. I am so sensitive to scary stuff, and season 3 is so scary.
Season 3.
But what I've heard,
go ahead,
is 4 is like all of the scariness and like spooky, like something coming around the corner factor of season 1 that captured all of us, with the scariness of season 3 combined. It's like the pinnacle of everything Stranger Things is.
I don't even like horror. In fact, I think it's my least favorite media / film / book genre, and yet Stranger Things doesn't feel it feels like a thriller, but it feels it feels less like gratuitous blood and violence and gore, and more, hey, this Demogorgon is here for a purpose, and hey, this animal with tentacle thing is here with an actual purpose. And so that's one of the things. I was actually reading an essay. It was some sort of literary essay in preparation for a podcast that I'm doing with a good buddy of mine, actually John Pyle, who was on the on the show a couple weeks ago. We're starting a podcast called Common Religion that is taking a lot of film and TV and works of art and breaking it down into like the core philosophical points that are coming out of it. Some of the things that we don't recognize and haven't been normalized, but internally we can kind of feel. And I was reading something in preparation for that, and that thing about character development, it was contrasting that with Star Wars, and how Star Wars just and I love Star Wars, but it just lobs characters with no development and no arc, and there's like zero personality outside of just a 2D picture, versus Stranger Things, which has layers and depth and you have 12 and 14-year-old kids that are able to convey this raw emotion. It's fantastic. I cannot say. And the soundtrack, I'm bumping that soundtrack on my Spotify. In my work, I'll set my timer 20 minutes, and then I'll just I'll put that soundtrack on, and I'm gone for 20 minutes while I'm working. It's fantastic.
Oh yeah. Well, I endorse the third season, even though I haven't watched it all the way.
Well, we appreciate that. Stephanie Leathe, CEO of Alter Live, endorses, gives her 2 thumbs up for that. Speaking of today on the show, we wanted to bring Stephanie on before she goes on vacation and before everybody goes on holiday and all of that to talk about some of the bigger things that are happening in Alter Live right now, including a brand new feature that has been hotly requested by a lot of the Alter Live fam, and that is our analytics dashboard. I should have like a here we go. No, it's not going to work. Hold on. I can pull up this. There it is right there. Our analytics dashboard. Stephanie, what is the analytics dashboard first and foremost?
Oh, well, I'm so glad you asked, Andy.
Oh, thanks.
Well, I'm going to actually go back to what when we first started building Alter, what features, big milestone features for us and how it's brought us to this point to date. So when we first launched Alter, the first request we heard from churches is people are watching my service, but they aren't engaging. The same people talk in the chat all the time, and people leave after the service ends and they don't feel like they've really made a connection with anyone or to the church beyond just the live stream content. So the first major feature we released in Alter was our video conference capabilities. That's rows, tables, rooms, all of those good things that you guys use that allow you to actually take that conversation deeper. The next thing we released was in response to the issue we heard churches having, which is I have all these Zoom accounts here and I have this platform here and I'm using Alter Live here and I don't know who's actually engaging with me throughout the week. And so we released our meetings function, and meetings was a Zoom replacement. The average church switching to Alter is now able to downgrade anywhere between 3 to 20 Zoom accounts into one Alter Live account. So that was huge. Analytics dashboard is our third major release. An analytics dashboard is really addressing the question we hear from you guys all the time is, how do I actually know who is attending and how to follow up with them afterwards? As you're probably familiar with, one of the biggest challenges on Facebook, Zoom, YouTube, or even your church website is what actually I was just with a client onboarding them to Alter Live right before this, and they said it to me in these exact words. They said, if somebody doesn't comment in the Facebook chat, I have no idea who they are or that they're even there.
Yep.
And it's really hard to build a relationship with somebody you don't even know their name. So Alter Analytics Dashboard is giving you insight into that specific problem in a new way that's dynamic, powerful, and really, really easy to use. So we're super excited to be releasing this to you all. Can't wait for you to get your hands on it, play around with it, tell us what you think. And we're going to show you a little bit of it today.
Right now, as a matter of fact, Stephanie is going to be treating us all like she does on some of her many, many, many customer calls. Stephanie, walk us through the analytics dashboard. Walk us through kind of if you want to do Genesis, if you want to even talk about UI, all those things. You go for it.
Oh, yeah. All right, guys. So you in your community are going to see a new little icon on the left-hand side. It's going to say analytics. Yeah, right behind Andy's head. Let's hop there. And this is your new analytics dashboard. So analytics dashboard is going to give you access to a lot of different things. Prior to this, you guys have been able to download attendance from specific events or meetings. And if you guys have been following our updates a few weeks ago, we now show you anonymous attendees in your attendance report from a specific event or meeting. But what we haven't been showing you is your overarching data from either the last year, the last month, the last week, or some custom date range. So the analytics dashboard is where you can go to start seeing some of these things. So let's take a look at my demo community of the last year of data and what I can learn from it. So the first thing that I can see here is that I can see the number of total attendees across time, the number of members, people who have actually logged in and created an account that have joined events and meetings, or the number of anonymous people that have joined events or meetings. So these are my cumulative numbers. You can see this is when we launched our demo community, October 2021. We had a peak. Now this is our team that tests in here. So we have small numbers, like 19 people. But you can see that we've had people join, and you can see these numbers over time. Now, one of the most important things you're going to notice is that anonymous users have not been able to be counted before this release. So going forward is when you'll start to see this fun little purple line, if you can see that on my screen, probably behind my head. Yeah, where you can start to see the number of anonymous people separated out from the number of people who've joined that have actually had accounts. So total attendance, this is that big bird's eye picture overview. When your pastor or leadership board asks you who is engaging with you online, some high level numbers, this is where you're going to want to go. Now let's dig in a little bit deeper. So this is really the meat of what is so important about measuring the effectiveness of online ministry. You need to know two very important numbers. One is new members. Who is actually creating accounts in your community, and when do they create those accounts? The reason you want to know that is because if you think about the connection cards that you have in person, or even somebody walking up to you and introducing you, that is the equivalent of what's happening online when somebody is becoming a new member as a part of your community. They're saying, I'm willing to give you information. I want to be a part of this further. And it's an important step in what we call that engagement pathway. You've heard us talk about this before, from awareness to consideration, participation, and then ultimately relationship. Those each indicate different levels of trust that you're building with your online attendees. And when somebody gives you their information, that signifies trust that they have entrusted to you. So new members is going to be really valuable. So when your pastor asks how many new people have created accounts in your ultra-live community, this is where you can go and you can see those trends over time. Now, the second really important number that you need to be able to measure is how many people are coming back each week. And not just number of regular attendees, especially those that already have a relationship with your church, but first-time visitors. One of the great things about online is that it makes you accessible to the whole wide world of the internet. And the common challenge, though, is that online services can often be like a revolving door. People come a few times, they watch, and then they leave. And you don't even know who they are or what made them stay or go. So returning visitors is now your ability to detect when somebody has come to more than one service. That's so cool because now you can see that maybe maybe a service 3 weeks ago had a lot of people come back to. Something about that service drew in a lot of people. Maybe you see that another service didn't, and more people left than they came. So we call that, in the metrics world, retention or churn. But those are going to be really important for you to understand and for your host to be able to engage with. A future feature we will be releasing is the ability to see that data on an individual inside of an event. So if I'm an online host and I'm chatting with visitor 745 and they have not given me their name or chosen to make an account, I can actually see that this is their 5th time attending an event in my community, which might mean they're really interested, they're hanging on, but maybe they need that extra invite or personalization to really get to know your community further. So new members, returning visitors, retention, churn, these are the numbers that you're really going to be able to dig into with these two graphs on screen.
So you're talking here in broad strokes about retention, about churn, about new members and visitors. Where, I guess, what was the determination for those metrics when you were deciding on what to report on instead of views or watch time or anything like that? Because that's always going to be the big question, especially with digital pastors. Is a lot of churches just make up their own metrics and say, hey, here's our metrics for success. What were the deciding factors behind all of that from you and the team?
Great question. So as you guys know, Alter is a destination platform, meaning that live stream that you're bringing into Alter is actually coming from another source, whether that's Resi, Restream, OBS, any of that. And most of those platforms already have, like you just said, Andy, that data around length of time on an event, length of time watching. That's really important data to know, but it's one piece of a puzzle. And like you said, it's kind of become the main data that we go off of, but it says very little about the quality of engagement besides that your live stream was captivating. What it doesn't tell you is how many people decided it was captivating enough, or they heard something that resonated with them enough, or they felt like they could sense the culture of your church enough that they could see themselves a part of it. It doesn't tell you that any of those things happened to them enough that they want to come back a second time. So that returning effect, that ability to, and then again, like we said, that the next level of trust where you actually are becoming a participant, all of that really speaks more to the quality of engagement versus the quantity of engagement. So that's what Alter is built to do and what we hope these analytics shed light on.
So yeah, in kind of when we were talking to shed a little bit of, peel back the curtain a little bit, you had listed out 4 really super important metrics that we need to be focusing on: retention, new members and visitors, quality of engagement, which we haven't really touched on yet, and then churn. So let's go to the quality real quick. What are you hearing about that in all of your meetings, and why is quality over quantity so important?
Absolutely. I think the value, so let's define quality of engagement. So when we think about the quality of somebody's engagement online, we are talking about number of chats sent, number of length of time that they've watched the service or stayed on a meeting. That's also important in quality. How did they take a seat with somebody? Did they choose to submit a prayer request? Did they interact with polls or announcements? Essentially, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much was this just in the background while they were washing dishes versus they had a true immersive experience where they were making personal connection with someone else? So quality of engagement is actually one we will be releasing. You don't see anything on the screen specifically on that yet, but what we're able to track and we'll soon be releasing is the ability to see how many chat messages were sent, how many seats were taken in rows, tables, or rooms, how long did they stay on the events, all of that, announcements, polls, how many people interacted with those types of things. So quality there starts to tell you that people aren't just watching, but they actually feel a sense of participation in the services or events you're running.
Fascinating. What you referenced that kind of adding things. Are there anything else on the docket to be added later, or is there still stuff that's being kicked around in QA? Good
question. As always, we're adding features continually. So down the line, you guys can look forward to as well. We're looking at high level trends across your community on this dashboard, but eventually you'll also be able to click into an individual member. So this is not here yet. These are all of our test accounts you can see, but you'll be able to click on an individual member and see, Andy has been to 3 services in the past month. He sent this many chat messages and he's sat in this many seats, rows, or tables. So on an individual level, you'll also be able to get a sense for somebody's journey in your online community.
That's fascinating. I love seeing that. When is this going to be released into the wilds of digital church?
Great question. You can expect this live next week. If you're watching this live, if you're watching it after the fact, this is going to be the week of July 4th. So a holiday week here in the U.S., but an exciting week in terms of features.
We can all celebrate by going to our analytics dashboard and churning out numbers into spreadsheets for all of us.
Oh yeah.
Fantastic. Stephanie, anything else that we're missing? Anything else that you want to add that might be coming up with the platform?
Great question. Summer is, hopefully you all are taking holidays, you're going elsewhere, you're spending time with family, friends, loved ones. Our team is hard at work digesting a really busy year. It's been so fun to get to see so many communities onboarding, launching, and really creating unique expressions online that really capture the heart of your church and are trying to do more than just live stream. I hear the word engagement in so many conversations, and that makes me and our team really happy to know that churches are looking to do more than just live stream. That's Absolutely. What Altar is built to do, and we hope to be a part of that with you. What we are spending our summer doing is learning. What have we learned over this last year? What's working for churches? What are the new challenges that they're facing? And how can we make that? How can we make the tools even more beautiful, seamless, and fun to use for the people that are joining your services and for you as hosts, admins, and the tech team that runs it. So you can look forward to this fall more customization features across the platform in terms of your ability to customize your favicon icon. So that's that little icon in the browser bar that could be your church logo. Further customization on domains. More features around the actual flow and interaction of people who are joining for the first time or returning visitors, so that they feel the value of joining your community up front versus the mechanics of having to learn a new platform. So we're always working to make that smoother and smoother. And then more and more features just around stabilization, meetings, and all the fun things that you use on a day-to-day basis.
All the things that we know and we love. Stephanie, what are you guys doing to celebrate the 4th of July? Just having family and friends over and kind of everybody getting prepared for the wedding?
We are. Lots of wedding prep for us. So we're heads down. I will say my siblings don't watch this show, so I can say this. My brother and sister both have significant others visiting this weekend. So it's a big judgmental weekend.
And your family is Italian, is that correct?
They are, yeah.
And Italians, you're either in the family or you're out of the family. There is no middle ground.
It's true.
I love it.
So I'll have to update you all if they made the cut.
Here's to hoping. We'll be thoughts and prayers to everybody. Stephanie, thank you so much for joining us here today on the show. Be ready, everybody, next week. If you are watching this live, if you are watching it on demand, hopefully if this is after the 4th, you can log into your Altar Live account and see your analytics dashboard, and then blow up the comments, blow up the chat. Let us know everything that you've been using your analytics for. I know it might seem super nerdy, but trust me, it's going to make a whole lot of difference in your engagement. Happy 4th of July weekend, everybody. We love you. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Sounds good. Bye, guys.